The most defining moments of your life will be dictated by one thing: your ability to stay grounded in the midst of chaos. When your life is spiraling out of control, when nothing is working, and it feels like the universe is conspiring against you, it's easy to fall into a dark pit, to be controlled by the fleeting emotions you're experiencing in the present moment, and make irrational decisions that can negatively affect your life. In my own life, the times when I was not grounded, when I made a decision based on my sudden emotions and not my values, when I allowed something that happened to me or what someone else did or said to control my reaction, I often made the wrong decision, which I later regretted. Though all of the challenges and trails I've experienced, I've discovered that the answer to every challenge in life is to stay grounded. And today, I'm going to teach you exactly what this means, and more importantly, how you can become a more grounded person and reclaim control of your life. What does it mean to be grounded? Before we can discuss the practical steps and mindsets you must adopt to become a grounded man, we must begin with, what does being grounded mean in the first place? The definition of being and feeling grounded is first and foremost about control. Not control over others or external circumstances, but control of yourself, your emotions, and the stories you choose to believe about your life and the events happening. To stay grounded means that you have the ability to stay calm and connect to the core of who you are in the face of uncertainty and adversity. It means that you aren't controlled by the chaos externally, but rather your values, purpose, and the vision you have predetermined for your life. Here's a few examples of being grounded. When your romantic partner comes home from work and immediately snaps and starts a fight, staying grounded would mean that you remain calm and look at the heart of what is really going on beyond the surface layer actions. Instead of name calling, losing your temper, or breaking dishes, you calmly step outside to clear your head, breathe, and return to discuss whatever the problem with respect, concern, and empathy while maintaining strong boundaries for yourself. The opposite of being grounded would be to fight fire with fire and engage in the conflict, falling into someone else's reality and someone else's emotional turmoil, chaos, or their emotional world. To scream louder than her like a competition, calling her a bitch, and allow her to control your state by giving in to the rage and frustration. Saying things that you don't mean and exacerbating the situation, leading to further complication and unnecessary hardship. Or when you launch a new product for your business and it fails spectacularly, generating 1/10 of the revenue you had anticipated. Being grounded would mean that you accept the failure in stride, looking for the root cause of your failure, finding the lessons, then shifting your strategy and persevering until you succeed. The opposite of being grounded would be to view this one failure as the end of the world, shut down the business, or buy into the lie that you're not cut out for entrepreneurship or building your own small business, and decide to return to a soul-sucking office job for the next 40 years that you absolutely do not like in defeat. When you unexpectedly lose a loved one, being grounded means that you embrace the process of grief and loss. Honor the memory of the person you love and continue caring for yourself as you attempt to heal from the loss in a healthy way. The opposite of being grounded would be to use your loss as an excuse to devolve into self-sabotaging habits, to turn to drugs, alcohol, and other vices, burning your life, goals, and dreams to the ground because you cannot handle the pain of the loss. At the end of the day, being grounded means that you are influenced but not controlled by the chaos of externalities in your life. It doesn't mean that you were emotionless and that you aren't affected by loss or failure. Simply that you maintain an unwavering commitment to your values, purpose, and vision, and use them as a guide to grow from the chaos of life instead of running from it. Why being grounded is essential to success, happiness, and fulfillment. I'm not exaggerating when I claim that making the decision to be grounded, and make no mistake, it is a decision, it is a choice, the most important thing that a man can do. By staying grounded, you will minimize regret later in life. You will make decisions based on what is true in your heart, not fleeting external circumstances, social conditioning, or the opinions of others. Learning how to stay grounded is hard, and when in the midst of chaos, it is harder than ever. But at the end of the day, being grounded is the key attribute that will allow you to live the life you want and become the man you want to be, and be proud of that man. By being grounded, you will earn the respect of others. You will be seen as a leader amongst men and desired by high-quality women. But most importantly, you will earn self-respect and confidence knowing that you are capable of facing anything that life throws at you and emerge on the other side stronger because of it. By implementing the 7 principles that I'm about to share, you will discover how to get grounded and stay grounded in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, and reclaim control of yourself and the present moment in your future. Number 1, surrender to the storms of life. And remember the words of the great Epictetus: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is a habit, not an act. Epictetus. In October of 2018, I ended a 4-year relationship with a woman that I love dearly. 5 months after the dissolution of our partnership, right when I was beginning to feel normal again, I received an unexpected call in the middle of the night informing me that one of my friends had died unexpectedly in a freak helicopter accident. I was in shock. We'd gone out to dinner the week prior, and just like that, he was gone from the face of the earth. As I began the grieving process and learned to come to terms with the unexpected loss of a dear friend, I received yet another call. This time from the police, telling me that my father had passed away unexpectedly. My legs became numb, and I fell to the floor instantly, landing on my knees. What the F is going on? I thought to myself, was life trying to break me? To make matters worse, shortly after these events transpired, I began suffering from inexplicable fatigue, severe brain fog, confusion, and heavy mood swings. Multiple emergency room visits, thousands of dollars, and more than 20 doctor's visits later, I discovered that the source of my problems was a rare form of mold poisoning, an ongoing challenge that would take me at least a year to fully recover from. I don't share this with you to garner your sympathy or pity, rather to illustrate something we all know but seldom admit. Life, even if it is happening for us, is unexpected and often very brutal. It doesn't care about your goals or ambitions. It has designs of its own and will put you on journeys whether you consciously accept them or not. We do not have the luxury of picking every aspect of our journeys in life. No matter how hard we try to wrestle fate into submission and carve our own destinies, life has a funny way of laying waste to our best laid plans. It will strike us down when we least expect it and then spit in our faces just for good measure. Failure to accept this notion only prolongs suffering. But the inconvenient truth is that it just doesn't fucking matter. We all deal with pain. We all face adversity. We all have to contend with the unexpected trials and setbacks. Sometimes, no matter how grounded we are, life sucks. It's painful, overwhelming, and confusing. I get it. The only thing we can do is to submit to the shitstorms of life. For every storm has an eventual ending. To embrace the journey on which life places us and commit to achieving excellence even when we don't want to or can barely get out of bed. That year has been my personal trip to hell. It felt like life is actively trying to F with me, trying to see how much I can take, like someone, somewhere gets a perverse pleasure from my suffering. But through it all, I've chosen to endure, to take the chaos life has thrown at me and swim through a river of fire, to find my freedom and peace. I still miss my friend, and especially my father. It still hurts every time I think about them. I wasn't able to focus for more than an hour with my toxic mold illness at the time. It often felt like I was in the body and had the mind of an 80-year-old man, unable to think with heavy brain fog. But I decided to make the most of what was in front of me, to search for the lessons and find a way to use this suffering for good. And to stay grounded, you must do the same. Sometimes life will kick you in the balls until you can't take it anymore. And when this happens, and trust me, it will happen, the only choice you have is this. Will I give my all and make the most of this situation? Will I commit to this journey and give 100% of myself to it, no matter how challenging it may be? Or will I let this break me? It is my greatest hope that you will commit to the journey, to persevering in the face of adversity, and giving your best no matter how debilitating the situation is, because that is the way of the grounded man. Number 2, the grounded mindset that will immunize you against failure. Failure is inevitable. No matter how hard you work, how smart you might be, or how tough you think you are going to fail many times in your life, and you are going to fail hard. It's an inextricable part of the human experience. Whether your business venture burns to the ground, your boss fires you, your lover leaves you, or your body becomes plagued by chronic disease and pain, failure and pain and suffering is coming. and it often comes when you least expect it. However, there is a single belief, a paradigm shared by the most successful people in history that will immunize you against failure and allow you to stay grounded in the face of overwhelming odds. Enter the growth mindset, first coined by Dr. Carol Dweck. The term growth mindset simply means that you believe any skill, talent, or ability can be acquired through hard work and dedication. Or, as it pertains to this conversation, it is the belief that the future can be better and I have the power to make it so. When faced with adversity or failure, our fight or flight response kicks in, and our gut reaction is to anticipate the worst, to assume that this single failure marks the end of our lives as we know it and the beginning of the end. Considered from the standpoint of evolutionary psychology, this reaction makes sense. For our ancestors, small mistakes often led to ostracization from the tribe or even death. And our 200,000-year-old brains are still trapped in this paradigm and have yet to catch up with the remarkable complexity and relative security of modern society. However, this propensity to predict and dwell on the worst possible outcome does not serve us in the 21st century today. Times have changed. Life on Earth is safer, easier, and more flexible than it's ever been. You're likely not living in actual fear for your life. You're not worried about starving to death or having clean drinking water. If you lost everything tomorrow, you'd still be okay. Think about that for a moment. The simple truth is that failure is rarely fatal like it was for our ancestors, and our brain has a hard time understanding that. No matter how deep of a hole you find yourself, you can find a way to climb out inch by inch, recover slowly, and rebuild a brighter future. And it is this belief that lays the foundation for developing a grounded mindset. To stay grounded, you must believe that whatever you are facing is temporary and that it can be overcome. This too shall pass. You must believe that you can endure the challenge and learn the skills necessary to overcome your adversity. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter how much debt you have, what addictions you have, how overweight you might be, how many failed relationships hang in your rearview mirror, or how many times you've broken integrity with yourself. You can learn to think, act, and live in a completely new way. No matter how horrible your situation is right now, other people have suffered setbacks far more devastating than whatever it is you are facing, and they found a way to overcome it and triumph in the face of overwhelming odds. Nelson Mandela was unjustly imprisoned for 19 years, tortured and humiliated, yet he emerged from his captivity as a leader and changed the course of an entire nation. Bill Gates' first company, Traffic went bankrupt and failed spectacularly before he went on to achieve unprecedented success with Microsoft. Stephen King received so many rejection letters, more than 30 for his first book, Carrie, that when he pinned them up in his office, the weight of the papers tore the nail from the wall. When you look at the lives of the world's most successful people, you will find that every great success was preceded by a string of failures they notably chose to overcome and grow from. So no matter what happens in your life, how hard times become, how spectacular you fall flat on your face, realize that you can always choose growth. Number 3, travel through time to keep perspective and control the chaos of your life. When surrounded by chaos in our day-to-day lives, it's easy to slip into panic and turn molehills into mountains, to view relatively small obstacles as insurmountable challenges that are a threat to your very way of life. The problem is that human beings tend to dwell in only one of two times, the past and the immediate future. We are either replaying the mistakes of yesterday, engaged in perverse flagellation and wishing we could rewind the clock and try again, or we are projecting our purported failures into the immediate future, mentally rehearsing a worst-case scenario and imagining a devastating turn of events that is likely not going to happen. The problem with both of these habits is that they ignore the immutable truth of human existence. Life is not a game played in days or months, but decades. Bearing a fatal accident or disease, both of which are statistical anomalies, you will likely live well into your 80s, if not longer, given medical advancements in technology. The setbacks and frustrations you are experiencing today will be a mere speckle on your life's timeline. Over the course of decades, you will face and overcome more adversity than you can possibly imagine, and whatever you are facing today is nowhere near as fatal as your monkey mind would have you believe. To stay grounded, you must embrace this truth and learn to accept the long game of life. The chaos that is happening right now, as painful as it might be, is temporary. In the grand scheme of things, it's a small redirection on your path to bigger and better things. Even if you lose someone close to you, the pain will eventually subside. You will never forget their memory, and you may never truly heal entirely from the loss, but it will get better and you can find happiness and peace again. When you are thinking and strategizing decades ahead in time, you will learn to see your present problems for what they are, lessons in life that made you a stronger and more capable human. Although this practice in and of itself doesn't solve the situation, you still need to find a job, get over the breakup, or heal an injury, or rebuild your business. It just gives you perspective on what is happening and helps you maintain hope when it's needed most. Your frustration, fear, anger, and hurt will lessen in time. You will realize that as challenging as your situation might be, you will eventually overcome and likely forget it in time. So the next time you are faced with a challenging situation, ask yourself, what will this mean 10, 20, 30 years from now? Will I still remember this setback in a decade? Consider that over a decade ago, you had many challenges in life, health, financially, relationships that you can't even remember today. Just let that sink in. Although it can be challenging to play the story forward when in the midst of a crisis, never lose sight of the future. Number 4, one day at a time. Owning life's hurdles with a dual perspective. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Navy SEAL saying. Although embracing a long-term view of your life can help allay your existential anxiety and give you hope in the face of adversity, this strategy is only effective when coupled with an extreme bias toward massive action. If your wife leaves you, your boss fires you, your business goes under, or you're stricken with a violent illness, trusting that things can and will get better does little to solve the immediate problems that you're facing. Even if you trust that things will improve, you have little to no knowledge of how they will improve. And in this situation, you must adopt the Navy SEAL mentality and accept that the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Simply put, you cannot control the future. You can't control all of the outcomes or force the story to play out the way that you want. But you can control what you are doing in this moment right now. So focus on what you can control one day at a time, no matter how big, no matter how small. Trust that things can get better and spring into action immediately to make them so. Focus on the one step you need to take right now and take it. Then take the next step and the next step. Instead of allowing yourself to be overcome by depression and overwhelm, become myopically focused on the task that is right in front of you. If you lose your job today, get up tomorrow and immediately search for one, or invest all of your spare time and energy into creating the business you'd always wanted. If your partner leaves you, spend a few days alone, journaling, meditating, and figuring out exactly what it is that went wrong and figure out how you will improve for the next relationship to make it all better and worth it. If you are diagnosed with a serious illness or injury, figure out the one thing you can do to begin the road to recovery and implement it immediately. To be grounded is not only to accept what you can't control, but to take action on what you can control, even if it's a very small action that seems like it's not gonna do anything or move the needle. Take it. In every situation, you must ask yourself, what does this really mean? The long game, and what am I going to do about it? Today's action. Number 5, your response to life's adversity determines your reality. There are 8 words that when internalized and believed have the power to transform your life. Life is happening for me, not to me. In every painful situation, through every failure, and throughout all the chaos of human life, you have a choice. A choice to believe that the universe is conspiring against you, that life is happening to you, or a choice to believe that everything is happening exactly as it should and life is happening for you. How would you act and feel if the latter were true? If the bad thing that was happening to you right now was the exact thing needed to happen to redirect the course of your life and for you to live the life that you've always wanted, how would you respond differently? How would you feel? If losing your job opened up the opportunity for you to pursue the career you really wanted, how would you feel now? If the devastating breakup was the catalyst for unprecedented growth and starting a new relationship, more spectacular, more connected and intimate and loving than anything that you'd experienced before, how would you respond now? If everything that happened to you was actually happening for you, even with the challenge, how would you live your life differently today? Again, to be grounded is to accept what you cannot control and change what you can. You can't control the economy, the health of your loved ones, the emotions of your partner, or the disposition of your employer. But you control the story that you choose to tell yourself about what is happening in the present. Your best options is to choose a more empowering story that will fuel a greater life. Choose to believe that life is happening for you, that adversity is simply success with a time limit in disguise, that all of the pain, the heartbreak, and frustration that you're experiencing is simply preparing you and strengthening you for a life more magnificent than you could have possibly imagined. When nothing seems to be going your way, when obstacles arise at every turn, when life seems screwed up beyond all recognition, when you are feeling the depths of hell closing in, pause, stay grounded, and ask yourself, is this my downfall or the makings of a brighter future? Number 6, your body, your soul's sword, sharpening for resilience. To stay grounded, stand strong in the face of adversity, and maintain an optimistic state, you must take care of yourself. In the same way that ancient samurai warriors would spend days sharpening their swords before a battle, you must treat your body and mind like a weapon and ensure that you engage in the right habits to maintain your edge. Even the most grounded man, when sleep deprived, hungry, and emotionally exhausted, will slip into ungrounded behaviors and toxic thinking. It's simple biology. We often practice self-care when times are good, and in challenging times, we simply don't have the time anymore. But why? When shit hits the fan, our natural instincts is to abandon our self-care rituals and practices, to forego our training, sedate our pain with unhealthy foods, alcohol, and drugs, and opt for distraction in the form of video games, TV binges, or porn instead of growth. But it is times like these when you must double down on self-care. Personally, that year was one of the most challenging years of my entire life. And I've lost count of how many times I've been tempted to give in to my old vices and temptations, to pursue the path of alcoholism, drug abuse, and rampant sedation in an attempt to forget all of the pain and suffering with which I've been faced. But I haven't. Instead, I've chosen to sharpen the sword. I was sober for months. My diet is cleaner than it's ever been. My days begin with yoga and mindfulness and include some form of physical activity instead of isolating myself and hiding from the world. I sought help and support from those I trusted and invested more time and energy into close relationships. As a result, I've been able to deal with my challenges instead of hiding from them. I'm stronger, happier, and more grounded because I chose to face the pain by keeping the sword sharp. And to stay grounded when faced with adversity in your life, you must do the same. To stay grounded, take care of your body and mind. Exercise, eat clean, get plenty of sleep, minimize or eliminate altogether drugs and alcohol. The stronger you are physically, the stronger you will be mentally and emotionally. Change your physical state to change your emotional state. Sharpen the sword. Take care of your soul, and it will take care of you. Number 7, grief, growth, and gratitude. Discovering meaning and purpose in every challenge. The final and possibly most powerful way to stay grounded through the chaos of life is to transmute your pain into power by asking a simple question. How can the pain I am experiencing right now serve other people and do good in the world? As I wrestled with the challenges that year, the main thing that has kept me going, the only thing that prevented me from turning to the bottle, snorting myself into oblivion, and abandoning my attempts at growth and development, is you. Men like you who watch this. It's the men like you who engage with my content. It's the clients who believe in my mission and who listen to my rants and improve their life because of them. Through every challenge and tribulation, I know that my pain could be used to serve others undergoing the same. The pain I've experienced after losing 2 people who were very close to me has equipped me with an intimate understanding of the process of grief. And now I can help others who are suffering from similar challenges cope with the loss in a healthy way and avoid the path of self-destruction. My battle with mold poisoning has taught me the value of health and sent me down a mad scientist rabbit hole that has given me a greater understanding of the human body and how men can optimize their health to get more out of themselves and put an end to unnecessary suffering. In an ideal world, I could have uncovered these lessons without the pain and heartbreak that accompanied them. But we don't live in an ideal world, do we? We live here, on Earth, on a majestic but undeniably effed up rock that is equal parts beauty and tragedy. And it is our duty to take our experiences, good, bad, and share them with others, to pay it forward and transmute our suffering into the life lessons of tomorrow. Not to lessen it, but to give it meaning, to find purpose in the pain and leverage it to make the world a better place. Life can be a cold, heartless bitch. I know, there's no getting around it, and no amount of positive thinking, law of attraction, or visualization that can change that. Sometimes the only thing we can do is to take the focus off ourselves and remember that everything we are experiencing can be used for good. If you're feeling a connection with what's been shared, it's no accident. You're ready for more, and it's time to dive deep into your ultimate potential. That's why I put together a comprehensive training just for you. This isn't just about finding your footing. It's about becoming the most powerful version of yourself. It's about reclaiming your masculine power, establishing an unshakable, grounded identity, and building the life and relationships that you've always dreamed of. Go ahead and click the link in the description now for immediate access to all of this. The journey is about breaking free from passivity, reshaping your social life, and cultivating a life filled with passion and high caliber relationships. It's about not just leaving the nice guy behind, but evolving into a strong, grounded man. And here's the kicker. You're not alone in this. You'll be joining an elite community of men, a brotherhood, all moving toward greatness. Plus, you'll gain unparalleled insights through top-tier course content, regular group calls, and life-altering interactions with a team of coaches dedicated to your transformation. This isn't a space for half-hearted attempts. This is for men committed to profound change. Ready for a revolution? Click the link in the description and let's get started. This is your moment. If this video stirred something inside of you, show some love, hit the like button, and subscribe so that you can receive more life-changing, valuable content produced in high quality. We put a lot of effort into this stuff, okay? So please like and subscribe. Here's to the journey ahead. Stay grounded. Until next time, guys.